Good evening everyone, my name is Craig. Welcome to slimwithus.online. And tonight we will be doing bacon and lentil soup. It's a one-pot wonder, something that I enjoy doing. It's actually ideal, my type of cooking, especially after a long day at work. You just get any ingredients from your cupboard and throw them all into one pot, wait for an hour, hour and a half, and you're ready to go. A quick, easy meal. And to show you how easy it is, I'm going to explain to you tonight. Okay, so to begin with, I will explain the ingredients that's on the website and on the recipe. Mainly it's 1 large onion. You need 2 cloves of garlic, which is crushed, 2 celery stalks. You can chop them any way you want, really. I like them nice and chunky, to be honest. 1 carrot, and that again can be chopped. Now for the actual lentils, on the recipe it does mention to have brown lentils, but tonight, like I mentioned, I have only not long come home from work, and in my cupboard I only had red split lentils. And don't worry if you haven't got the brown lentils and you've only got these lentils, because these are also 0 units. Rashers of bacon. You can use smoked or you can use unsmoked. I've used unsmoked tonight because that's what I got in the fridge, or had in the fridge. Is 8 rashers here, and I've just chopped them up into basically, I don't know, were they centimetre squares? That's no problem. Make sure you cut off all the fat. Okay, that is very, very important. 2 litres of veg stock. So there's 2 litres of veg stock, or actually just under 2 litres. We'll be pouring that in. Then you need 4 tablespoons of tomato puree. If you're going to use tomato puree, basically you can make sure that it's actually the no oil added to the tomato puree. You can get different shops actually sell different types and different brands. Try and get the one. If you can't get the tomato puree like that, there's nothing wrong with using a little bit of passata. There's no problem with that whatsoever. And then just get 2 teaspoons of mixed herbs. That's all you actually need. We will be chucking in a splash of balsamic vinegar, and we will be chucking in a splash of Worcestershire sauce just to spice things up. And then towards the end, salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so let's start cooking. Easy enough. You do need a heavy pan, basically a lid, so things don't evaporate too much. I've got a spoon here. So with your fry light, you just need to basically put some in the pan and start frying off the bacon. Once the bacon has cooked for a few minutes, just remove it. And with the actual juices that's come out of the bacon, then we can cook the actual veggies. Just a couple of sprays of your fry light. You don't actually need too much of it. There is still little bits of fat. I've trimmed it as best I can, but there are still some bits of fat on the bacon. So I'm just going to put this in now, and hopefully it should start sizzling straight away, which is nice. I'm going to keep the plate to the side, because once the bacon is cooked, like I said, I will take them out. This is actually on quite a high heat, because I do want to fry the bacon to get it nice and crispy more than anything. And don't worry if little bits stick at the bottom. It's all flavour, and the soup is going to be cooked in the same pan. So you'll get all that flavour, and the little bits at the bottom that might stick will flavour the soup anyway and come off in the soup. This is supermarket bought bacon, so you will find quite a lot of water coming out of the bacon, which is unfortunate, but the longer you cook it down, the more that will just evaporate away. No problem at all. Get your veggies ready, because we'll be frying these off in a minute. Once we've brought this soup to a simmer, because we're using lentils, you can basically follow the instructions on the pack. But generally speaking, for lentils, you really need to soak these beforehand. And I haven't actually soaked them. So I'm just going to give them a quick rinse before putting them in. But the point I'm trying to make is it's going to take roughly an hour to actually cook these properly. But if you soak them, they tend to cook a bit quicker. You can pre-soak them beforehand. So get this nice and browned off. I think that should do it. I'll turn that down and just pile this onto the plate. Just set it to a side. I'll leave that there. Okay, then on with our veggies. Let's put our vegetables in. And don't worry that we're not adding any more oil. Vegetables actually hold a lot of water. And I know it's a good idea to fry a little bit of the vegetables off. But generally speaking, these are really going to cook in the soup itself. They will soften within that hour cooking the lentils. So I'm just basically putting them in here just to sweat them off a little bit. It's not to fry them, but mainly to sweat them off a little bit. Extract some of the water, and that will also get those little bits of bacon off the bottom of the pan as well, just to add to the soup. Just leave this in there for a couple of minutes. Like I said, I do want to actually rinse the lentils, so I'm sure I have, yeah, a little sieve somewhere. So just put these, rinse them under cold water. It will help remove any dust that's on there. They've been in the packet and processed. So, okay, let's give these a little bit of a stir. Lovely. You can see the actual moisture coming off, sweating them down, which is lovely. As you can see, all the bits that's coming off the bottom of the pan all add into the flavour. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. So your mixed herbs, just bung them in. Your 2 cloves of garlic. Smells lovely already. Just putting those mixed veg in, I can smell just coming off. Give it a mix around. Lovely. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't really want any of the garlic to burn, so I'm going to put in the stock now. Just a little bit now, because I don't want the garlic to burn. Just fry it off for a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds before adding the rest of the ingredients. So your tomato puree can go in. Lovely. And that can go over here. Now, a splash of balsamic. And it all really depends on how much you want. Don't put too much in to start off with. Just a splash. Because you can always add more later. You can never take it away. So if you put too much in now and it's overpowering, splash of Worcester, you can't take it out. But if you add a little bit now and you think towards the end of the cooking and you want to taste it, that's when you add the seasoning. You can also add a little bit more of the balsamic or the Worcester, no problem at all. As I said, my vegetable stock has actually gone cold, and we've got the veggie bits stuck to the top. Don't worry about that, there's nothing wrong with it, because it's all going to render down again as it heats up in the pan. Put it all in. It's going to be lovely. The bacon doesn't go in until the end, okay? Maybe 20 minutes before finished cooking. Put your lentils in. Get as many out as you can. Waste not, want not. Stir this around. I wish this was smell-o-vision. Get those little bits of lentil off. Now bring this to the boil. And let it simmer for 1 hour. You can actually test it before, test a couple of the lentils, make sure that they're cooked before that, but roughly an hour. And then add your bacon, and then for the last 20 minutes, keep an eye on it, make sure that it's okay. Season it just before serving, and away you go. Okay, I'm going to put the lid on here, and I'm going to wait for it to boil. I'll turn the heat down, and I'll come back later. So now basically I'm going to put in the bacon, and finally leave it to simmer for a little bit longer. Let's get some of that flavour out. Leave it another 20 minutes or so. Test the lentils, make sure they're cooked. Once this is finished, I'll bowl up and then I'll show you the finished product. And finally, the lovely soup. Now you can finish this off with basically some fresh parsley just sprinkled over the top, or enjoy it just as it is. It's beautiful.